Jackie and I go way back, including as a former colleague, so it's great to be with you, and thank you for that rousing call to action and for your leadership of Planned Parenthood Action Fund of New Jersey. Before we jump into, or jump back in, I should say, as to why we're here today, just to state the obvious, this has been a devastating week in the world and in our state. From the earliest moments on Saturday morning, right through to a minute ago watching CNN, and unfortunately I suspect this is going to go on for a long time, the absolute barbaric slaughtering by Hamas of innocent Israelis, and by the way, it turns out innocent Israelis and many others, including Americans. It has touched our country. It has touched New Jersey. There is reported one loss of life. We have not been able to confirm that yet. We know that there is at least one missing, Aiden Alexander, Bergen County. I've got no update on his whereabouts, a member of the IDF. I spoke to his mom and dad the other day. We know that there are a number of folks who are in Israel, stranded, if you will, who we're trying to work with Matt and federal authorities and our Homeland Security people to get them safely back home. I've been in communication with the acting consul general of Israel beginning Saturday, was with him last evening. We have lowered the flags in memory of the innocent lives lost, an overwhelming number of Israelis, but also there will be, and there are innocent lives lost of others, including Palestinians. Let's not forget that we have not just one of the largest Jewish and Israel American communities of any American state, but we have the largest Palestinian state. And putting aside the horror, the brutality of Hamas, which must be brought to justice and eliminated, there are millions of innocent folks out there of all denominations, of all backgrounds, who bemoan this loss of life. As best, and by the way, myself, Tammy, Matt, Tahisha have been up and down the state at seemingly one vigil after another, as well as other members of our administration. As far as Tammy and I can piece this together, we know we spent a magical afternoon in July of 2016 in what we believe is the kibbutz that was absolutely ravaged, including the reported beheading of precious little kids. We think we were there, and whether we were there or not, frankly, it's just an awful, awful act of barbaric violence by these awful people, and they must be brought to justice. There's no two ways about it, but please, God, we protect as many innocent lives, Israelis, Palestinians, and others, and that they may not be caught in this rightful, I might add, rightful assault on Hamas to eliminate them, period, but certainly to eliminate their war-making abilities. Again, when you're in my position, when you're in Matt's, Tahisha's, Tammy's, all of us, and you are the head of a state that has the concentration of Jewish Americans, Israeli Americans that we have, this is something that is and will remain top of mind and top priority, I suspect, for a long time to come. Please keep all of these victims, all of the innocent victims, in your prayers, their families, their friends, the folks who have been taken hostage and their family and friends. You speak to the Alexanders, as I did, or any other family that has either lost someone or can't find someone or they're injured. The heartbreak is just overwhelming. So God bless them all. Again, back to why we're here. Jackie, again, thank you. I know I speak for all of us to say that we are so grateful for the work that Planned Parenthood does every single day to protect access to reproductive health care. I am also grateful this morning to be joined by some of our great champions for reproductive freedom here in the Garden State. We have the Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way with us, Attorney General Matt Plotkin, our Acting Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Health, Dr. Caitlin Bastian, Acting Director of the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs, Carrie Face. We have from our rocking legislature, Trenton's own Senator Shirley Turner, Trenton's own Assemblywoman Verlina Reynolds Jackson. She's not from Trenton, but she loves Trenton and Hudson County. Assembly, all the way in from Hudson County, Assemblywoman Angela McKnight. My best buddy and First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy. Kate McDonald is also here with Matt from the AG's office. Kate, nice to welcome you back into your former abode here. So today we are here with a simple message. New Jersey is, and New Jersey always will be, a safe haven for reproductive health care, period. We're going to ensure that our daughters do not inherit a world in which they have fewer rights than their parents did. And we're going to stand united in saying hell no to a right-wing movement that is hell-bent on ripping away our fundamental freedoms. As women across America continue to navigate the chaos created, as Jackie laid out, by the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court's disastrous Dobbs decision, the Garden State will not go backwards. We will stand firm. And to every woman who has been abandoned and targeted by their state's leadership, we are here to tell you, you have a home in New Jersey. Because here in our state, we believe that everyone is entitled to safe, affordable access to essential health care. And that same belief has guided all of us in our administration, and I might add, in our legislature since day one. You may have heard me say it before, as governor, among my top priorities has been establishing New Jersey as the single best state to raise a family, if and when you are ready to do so. Of course, this is one of the most intimate decisions imaginable, and the last thing that any woman, or any family for that matter, needs is some politician stepping in and dictating their ability to make that decision. Tammy and I have a dear friend who calls this government-regulated pregnancies, and that's exactly what we're up against. That is the opposite of freedom. And as elected leaders and lawmakers, our responsibility is to ensure that women and families can access every resource they need to make informed decisions about their own futures. That is exactly why over the past now nearly 6 years, our administration has made historic progress, again, working with outstanding legislative leaders in not only protecting but expanding reproductive rights. We have restored and increased tens of millions of dollars in funding for family planning clinics throughout our state, beginning with our historic step to refund, again, after 8 years of zero state funding. Think about that now. The prior administration zeroed out funding for Planned Parenthood for 8 consecutive years, claiming there was a budget crisis. I think, Paramel or Matt, what did we inherit? Like a $37 billion budget? They couldn't find $8 million in that budget 8 years in a row. We corrected that among our very first steps, and it's not just Planned Parenthood, but importantly, it is Planned Parenthood. We've enshrined the fundamental right to reproductive autonomy into law, again, as Jackie said, with the Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act. And we've also ensured that abortion services are covered by health insurance plans. And just earlier this year, we enacted a new law, which is why we're here, by the way, sponsored by, among others, Senator Turner, Assemblywoman Reynolds Jackson, and Assemblywoman McKnight, and again, among others, Jackie listed them out, guaranteeing that every woman can obtain birth control from a New Jersey pharmacy without a prescription, even women who live outside of New Jersey. Now, when I signed that legislation into law back in January, I said it would take some time to implement as we put all the pieces into place. Well, today I'm honored to announce that we have taken a crucial step in turning this law into a reality. Earlier this morning, Kate, I'm told a unanimous vote, is that right? You were there? Carrie, you were there?
I was not there.
Okay. Turns out no one was there, but it was unanimous. Earlier this morning, the Board of Medical Examiners voted, I'm told unanimously, to establish a framework for our state's pharmacists to begin dispensing prescription-free contraceptives to women. And we have some of those very pharmacists with us today. Great to have you. You should know I do what Lori Clark tells me to do. We also have some great activists. I stand with Planned Parenthood. The pink shirts are with us as well. Let's hear it for you all as well. So for our aforementioned states' pharmacists to begin dispensing prescription-free contraceptives to women, and the Board of Pharmacy recently voted to advance the same framework. Now, there are lots of moving parts in this process, so I won't dig into all the details. But I will say is that starting next year, do we think spring? Is that a reasonable time frame? Somebody? Why not? Let's say June. It's like, I feel like I'm in an auction house. Do I hear spring? I heard June back from Kate. Sometime in the first half, we're hoping, of next year, any woman will be able to walk into a pharmacy in New Jersey and buy birth control without a prescription if it is medically appropriate, period, full stop. And again, that applies to every woman, whether or not they live in the Garden State. Now, while this is a big deal, frankly, it should not be. After all, roughly 9 in 10 women, as Jackie said, say they've used some form of contraception in their lives. So the idea that any politician would try and make it harder for women to access this essential form of health care is patently absurd. But tragically, that is the agenda being advanced by some extremists. I don't want to be political, but they're in the Republican Party. And they're not content with just coming after abortion rights. They want to come after every reproductive right. By the way, this includes some members of the U.S. Supreme Court, I might add as well. Every right from making family planning services less affordable to barring access to birth control and or IVF. And as I said a few minutes ago, you have our word. The anti-choice agenda is dead on arrival in New Jersey. And with the help of everyone here today, we're going to continue making family planning services more affordable and accessible through community resources like Planned Parenthood or federally qualified health centers or independent family planning providers or hospital-affiliated clinics or others. In short, New Jersey is moving forward in protecting reproductive freedom in every way, shape, and form. By the way, before I turn this thing over to our great Lieutenant Governor, there are some out there, they say this, it's hard, it's unfathomable, who say that when we talk about reproductive freedom and rights and abortion and birth control and contraception, that we're distracting from the real issues, that we're changing the subject. My God, these are the real issues. These are fundamental freedoms for women in America and more broadly for families and for all of us in America. This isn't changing the subject. This is the subject. With that, please help me welcome my partner in government, an extraordinary leader, the First Lady of the Lieutenant Governor. First Lady's my partner in life, by the way, more on her in a moment. The Lieutenant Governor of the great state of New Jersey, Tahisha Way.